everybody, my name is Maria, I'm from Bulgaria, and what you need to know about me is that I just love climbing mountains. I spend all my free time in the mountains, running, skiing, rock climbing, and also going to some high peaks. I have already been to many mountains in the world, but today I have chosen to take you far away from home. And yeah, I hope you join me today on our expedition to the peak Chimborazo in Ecuador. The peak Chimborazo is 6,300 meters high volcano, and many years before Everest was found and measured, it was considered to be the highest peak on Earth. It is indeed the highest peak on Earth, but measured from the center of the Earth. Because of its position on the equator, it is actually the nearest point on our planet to the sun. So we went to Ecuador in January and we able to climb that mountain. So what do you need for climbing high mountains? Actually, you need to be fit, in good health, have good proper preparation, also some equipment, and here I have taken with me some of my equipment to show you. This is my helmet. You also need an ice axe or two depending on the route, some carabiners, some ropes, because normally you walk on a glacier terrain and you need to be roped together so that you make sure not to fall in some crevasses. You need some crampons and preferably some double shoes. These are mine. By double shoes I mean that it is actually two shoes that gets one inside. This is the inner shoe, which looks a little bit disco, but it makes sure your feet stay warm. The other very important thing about climbing high mountains is the proper acclimatization. Your body cannot cope with high altitude, and this is why there is also above 8,000 meters, for example, it is considered to be the death zone, because your body just cannot regenerate anymore. The proper acclimatization means you give time to your body to get used to this altitude. This is a slow process, and in this process your body produces more and more red blood cells, which actually help transport more oxygen to every part of your body, to every important cells of your body. Proper acclimatizations mean you spend many days climbing little and then go down, sleep on some kind of altitude, then continue up, sleep lower, and just steps by steps like that. This is why, for example, the expeditions on Everest take 2-3 months. It's just because the body needs to acclimatize. Otherwise, you just die. What happens to your body if you don't acclimatize properly? You first get sick. It begins with some headache, with some dizziness, vomiting, stuff like that. It's called acute mountain sickness. This is not so dangerous. Getting down, getting some oxygen helps. But if you don't pay attention to these symptoms, then the next levels of sickness are high altitude pulmonary edema and high altitude cerebral edema, which means your lungs get full with liquids, your brain gets filled with liquids, and the result of that is actually death. So the only remedy is getting oxygen as soon as possible, which means getting down as soon as possible. Many people believe that there is no oxygen, or the oxygen gets less with altitude. This is actually not correct. the levels of the oxygen itself stay the same. It is the partial pressure of the oxygen that changes with altitude. So let's finish with the scientific part, and now I'm going to show you some of my photos. So having in mind this acclimatization process, we started also with some easier peaks. We started our preparation with the Cumbre Pichincha, which is 406,000 meter high peak, which is located just above the capital of Ecuador, Quito. It is a very easy hike actually, there is no snow, the landscape is just like that. There's very different flora and fauna actually in South America, not the one like we have here in Europe. And although it's almost 5,000 meters, you can walk with normal shoes because there is no snow. Our next stop, our next level of preparation of acclimatization was the volcano Cotopaxi. Cotopaxi is the third highest volcano in the world, and it is actually an active volcano, which means its last eruption was in 2015, not so long ago. Cotopaxi has the real form of a volcano, which is the conus-like form of a volcano, and yeah, we needed to use a truck in order to get to the hut. Here you can see the small hut, which is located on the feet of the volcano. It is a moon-like landscape, and the last part of the volcano is covered with snow. You'll be surprised that on the equator there is so much snow, so much ice. There is a real and proper glacier terrain, a lot of crevasses, a lot of seracs, so you really have to pay attention. This is our dinner in the hut the evening before our climb. We got some potato soup, some rice, which are good carbohydrates that you need for a long climb, for example, some chicken and stuff like that. And this is our little group. We climbed, me, my boyfriend, and another friend of ours, which is a very famous base jumper actually. This is not the dinner time, this is actually the breakfast time. This is and breakfast time is just at 12 o'clock in the evening. So we started our ascent in the evening at midnight. Why? Because first, because the weather deteriorates normally in the afternoon, so you have to make sure that you climb that mountain and come back as soon as possible. Second part is that normally when the temperatures rise with the sun, when the temperatures get higher, the ice get a little bit, the structure of the ice changes, so it gets much more dangerous. So rock falls can happen, crevasses open and stuff like that. So normally all the climbs begin just in the night. So this is the summit of Cotopaxi volcano, which is 500, I never remember the numbers, 5,897 meters. And as you see, this behind me is actually the smoking crater of the volcano. As I said, it is just an active volcano and it really smells like volcano. I don't know the word in English. This is me and my boyfriend on the summit at sunrise, and here you can see this perfect shadow of the volcano early in the morning. A very interesting thing about the sunrise is in Ecuador, on the equator, on the linear of the equator, is that it just happens suddenly. In Europe, normally we have some kind of twilight. The colors of the day begins to be some kind of pink, some light yellow, stuff like that. And you walk from complete darkness, you walk through this tree light until the sun rises. But on the equator it was not just like that. It was dark, 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 and suddenly the sun just, it was just there. No normal sunrise. These are on our coming down on the route. Some crevasses behind me. Yeah, here I wanted to show you that it was really cold. I had all my clothes, my down jacket, my gloves that are normally used, down gloves that are normally used climbing in the Himalaya, where it's very cold. And I was really surprised that I was freezing all the time, although we were moving continuously. And yeah, I was not expecting such cold on the equator. My favorite shoes in crampons. These are some glacier terrain. Here you see these 3 people coming down. Some other picture like proper ice. This maybe cannot be seen so good, but this is the summit of Cotopaxi, and these 3 people here is our little group. Our friend of us just took this photo from the hut. We are coming down here. And in the hut we found a Bulgarian flag and we wrote down our names and the date of our climb, which was the 7th of January this year. Here another volcano. This is actually this lake. This blue lake is inside the crater of a volcano, a dormant volcano. It's called Kuilitova Lake. We went there just for another acclimatization and because the weather was so good. Our next stop and our aim for the climb was Chimborazo. It doesn't look like a real volcano, but it is. And this picture was taken from the roof of our hotel in Riobamba. This is on our way to the volcano. Yeah, actually when you stay here from that point and you look at this volcano in front of you, well, it's really respecting. It's a big mountain, a very big mountain. This is the last part, just a very moon-like landscape, maybe Mars-like landscape, because the volcano ash was in these red covers. You have also the snow, a really surrealistic landscape. Here you can see the small thing is the hut, some vicuña, some kind of llamas. And here I'm trying to get some nap, 3 p.m. In the afternoon, because our start was in the night again. This is some part of the route. Here on this ridge, then here, and this last part. This is not the real summit of the volcano. Once you're here, you have to come down a little bit and then climb more to the real summit, to the main summit. So here is our starting point. We started from the hut at 10 p.m. which means 10 o'clock in the evening, and we climbed all night long in darkness. It was a very long climb, really the distance is like 7 kilometers one way, and it took us 9 hours because we arrived on the summit around 7 o'clock in the morning. As you see, this is the previous peak, which is called Ventimiglia Peak, which is the false one. So once you arrive there, you think it's over, but it's not over. You have to climb more in order to reach the main summit. So this is me on the last part, actually on the nearest point on Earth. That day was a very cold day, the sun was shining, and we were only 4 people up there. This is me arriving on the summit, and well, the feeling is is really really nice. It's like some kind of extraterrestrial. It feels like maybe being on the moon. For me, Chimborazo is the highest peak I have climbed so far, the highest point, 6,280 meter. And this is my boyfriend coming down. Some red ashes, and yeah, that's the last part. I also have a video here. Let me see. So yeah, you can see it was very very windy, and I have one last video. This is from Cotopaxi. Dajcie, hello, So yeah, I'm obviously talking in Bulgarian because on high altitude the last thing is talking in English or another language. So that's for me for now. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, and yeah, see you soon.